A total eclipse of a cat. Okay, so what are we talking about today?
We're talking about NFT.
Okay. Cue, like, with a deep voice. NFT.
So I wanted to talk about NFT. It's been on the news for the last 2-3 weeks.
And it changed your perception of reality and your ontological conception of the world.
Yeah, pretty much. Before starting, like, what is NFT? It stands for non-fungible token. It's Bitcoin, except each Bitcoin is different. And you can put anything on that Bitcoin. So, for example, one token that is a token of my cat, one token that is a token of my computer.
Is it like a coin, but instead of the Queen of England, there is a picture of your cat on it? But virtual?
It's no, because like NFT is an individual object. Two coins can be the exact same coins.
Wait, no, two coins can't be the exact same coin because they are using different atoms. But they can be the same.
Two coins can represent two NFT can represent the same thing as well. But fuck.
So it's just like a coin.
Okay, it's just like a coin, except that like this coin can be linked to any kind of non-real object.
Like a coin. No, but I think we should probably at some point later come back between the distinction between the atoms of the coin and what the coin represents, because I agree that in some sense the coins are all the same. I'm just messing with you. But I think it's intimately linked to what we're discussing here, so it's good to lay it out there. Before we move on from what it is, I have an actual other phrasing, and you correct me if it's wrong. Is it like buying a part of a blockchain? Like, is an NFT like chunk of a blockchain that I buy and it's mine?
Well, a part, it's a bit weird to say a part of a blockchain, you know what I mean? Most of NFTs are on the Ethereum blockchain. So what you're buying is, so the Ether is the actual equivalent to Bitcoin, and this has monetary value. But you can attach to a transaction multiple stuff. So you can attach a contract that says whatever this thing is mine, whatever contract you might invent, or maybe you can even code some stuff on the Ethereum blockchain. So you can say if Trump become president, this Ethereum goes to whatever address. You can do that sort of things. And an NFT is basically a contract that says that you own something. You own something different than just the Ether.
Okay, so you don't own part of the blockchain, but the blockchain registers your ownership of something.
Yes. But owning a blockchain doesn't make that much sense.
Yeah, because it's decentralized, yeah.
What's interesting, so the most well-known way to use NFT before that was CryptoKitty. I don't know if you remember that, but it was all the craze 3-4 years ago. You could buy little kitten images and you can trade them and you could do nothing with them. So that was a big website 3-4 years ago, and the most expensive kitten was 50,000 euros or something.
As NFTs, right?
As NFTs, yeah. What's interesting with NFTs is that you can use them on the website where you buy the thing. So for example, CryptoKitty.com, you can buy kittens, you can exchange them, you can see them, but it's also on the Ethereum blockchain. So it's actually yours. So you can do whatever you want with them. You can exchange them in another, just on, I can send you a CryptoKitty as a normal Ethereum transaction.
Yeah.
The use of the CryptoKitty is on the CryptoKitty website, but the actual ownership of it is on the blockchain. So that was the first use of it. And I found that very, very interesting for games, for example, because you could think a trading card game online where you can own the cards outside of the game and do exchange. We can talk on Messenger and we can okay, let's trade those two cards. And you don't need to go to the platform. You can just exchange them as a normal transaction.
Okay, what the NFT brings you in that regard compared to, I guess, what I'm guessing what Wizard of the Coast is already doing with Magic Online is that it's not a centralized database owned by someone, right? It's everyone knows that you own the kitty.
It's an open source. Basically, it's an open source database.
Because trading card games already exist online, but they are proprietary platforms.
What's nice with that, it reflects how it works in the real world. Meaning, like when you buy a Magic card game, you can do whatever you want with them. Like you can trade it against a Pokemon card game if that's what you want. You can you can destroy it. You can destroy an NFT. You can you know what I mean? You can do whatever you want with it. And like that gives back that sense of like ownership.
Yeah, because nobody is in control of the database. That's interesting because in the real world, when you do a trade like that or when you acquire a card, there is no ledger. It's like the only ledger is atoms, is reality. So blockchain is kind of like a new reality warrantor in that sense, constructing a new space.
That's a nice way to put it, I think. Basically, it creates scarcity because like a Yu-Gi-Oh card is real. Like there's an intrinsic scarcity of the object. So when you have one in your house, like there's one less in the world. So as you said, like reality is a warrantor of like who owns what.
I mean, scarcity is tied to the notion of uniqueness of the card. It's more than scarcity, it guarantees unicity, which is like super scarcity.
Yeah, it grants you uniqueness even if it's not a unique object. Like exactly, like I think trading card game is the best example there. Like multiple person can have like one card, but each card in the real life it's like the example of the coin that you said before. Basically each card is not unique because it represents the same thing, but each card is actually unique because the object is unique. And like it's the same thing there. Like an NFT can represent the same in-game card or whatever like object, but the NFT is unique.
So it's kind of like a way to construct some sort of atoms on the blockchain that will constitute the virtual cards. Because so you have several cards of the same Pokemon, but they all have different atoms, and in that sense they are unique. Your NFT tokens are all unique because the blockchain gives them virtual atoms.
Atom quality. That's a very nice way to like put it. I've never thought about that or heard that at all.
We are constructing a new reality based on the ether. That's fun. Not worrisome at all. Cannot imagine how this can go wrong.
It can't go. Well, it went wrong, and like let me tell you why.
So is it a part of why is it in the news?
Yeah. Here, everyone can actually see kind of like the value of an NFT. It gives you ownership, you can trade it in another platform, and it's actually useful somehow in some sort of game or some sort of... It's useful, like it gives you usefulness.
Applications.
Application. Yeah, it gives you... Yeah.
It has applications.
Something exists, it has application. So right now, the biggest use of NFT, and when I say biggest, is like what is the most valued dollar-wise use of NFT is buying art.
Dollar-wise and probably attention-wise, right? News are all about that. Not about trading cards.
It's about buying virtual art, like NFT or virtual art. Like the news was, if you didn't hear about it, the news was Beam, an artist online that designed one thing every day for the last whatever years, created like NFTs for each of his artwork, and then he put them all together into kind of a poster, and he sold that at Christie's, which is one of the biggest auction house in the world, like art auction house in the world, and it went for $66 million.
Dream job.
What you're buying there, like everyone can like download the art, everyone can see the art online, everyone can print the art, it's an online image, like it's a JPEG image that like everyone can access. People are buying the NFTs that represent that art. This NFT doesn't give them any specific right about the art that it's representing. It's not theirs. Like the artist still owns this.
Well, it could be accompanied by any kind of right. It's just not necessarily, okay. What they are buying is a slot in the ledger saying like, oh, I won the auction.
Yeah. So if it was like one occurrence where like some artists say, oh, it's a fun artistic thing to do. Oh, you're buying a representation of a thing that I'm like, it's a fun, like we can talk about that. Like this has value in itself, like whatever. But it's not like people are buying
pictures.
So the second biggest use in the US, a baseball or basketball, I can't remember, like basketball league are selling NFT of clips of sport action. You see this guy like throwing a ball well, and you can buy the NFT of this GIF for like a massive amount of money, which doesn't mean that like anything, basically the GIF is not.
Yeah. So what do you think those people who buy this get for themselves in return?
So with sport,
it's just like pure social standing thing.
But that's the thing. That's what I wanted to talk about. Is I've tried to think about it alone, and I needed someone to talk about it with, because like I just like my brain is
Okay.
not able to comprehend why. If it was you buy the GIF or whatever, and then it's yours and no one can use it anymore, like it's actually yours, then okay, fine, like that makes sense to me, like whatever. But this is not what it is. Like you just buy the representation of the art on a ledger.
Yeah.
But the guys that own the art can recreate an NFT.
Yeah. So
And like no one is checking if like it's yours or not. So tomorrow I can create an NFT of the same piece of art.
yes, but you won't be the first. Like it will sell for less because you won't have the social prestige of being the first buyer of that.
We went so far into
Abstraction.
like who has $66 million to spend on nothing?
Okay, yeah, the price is a bit fucked up coming from the fact that capitalism has gone a bit wonky.
No, but like I saw, like when I first saw that, I was like, okay, that could be used as like Patreon. Meaning, like, for example, our podcast, we could sell NFTs of each episode, and that could, like, be a nice little way to support people.
Yeah, that was my very first reaction when you mentioned sports team. Like, maybe those people just want to throw away money and give to the team and don't really care what they get in return. But I don't think that's what this is. So is it about where I explained to you what it is?
With pleasure.
So when people, I think, I'm just going to go in, but when people buy a piece of art and display it in their house, they don't really actually give a shit about the art. They just want to own a Picasso and impress whoever comes to visit or make them feel good about themselves when they watch it or whatever. It's not about the piece in itself. It's about what it represents, the social standing, the social position. And so you can say, oh, I own a Picasso, I'm well off, or impress the neighbors. And here, so what really seems a bit tough with this is like, how can you, the important part of this is that it's on display either for you or for your neighbors. Like it's a display of wealth, it's a proof of social standing in a way. It's a currency of social standing. And if it stays locked in an attic, like nobody cares.
Yeah.
So my question with these NFT transactions is, there must be some kind of a service that will assert that you own this. I guess then you can say to everyone, oh, I own Nyan Cat, and like you're buying bragging rights, essentially. But it's just like one step removed. The Picasso is not on your wall anymore. It's in the blockchain where nobody's ever going to check.
But it's not one step removed. It's like 20,000 steps removed.
I mean, if you want to check, it's there. Are you sure there's no service to check?
The thing is, like, it's not even yours. That's what, like, fucked me up a bit. It's like you buy what represents it on the blockchain.
Yes, but so first, I don't think the people that bought it necessarily understand the distinction. And second, I don't think it matters either. Because if you buy the Nyan Cat at the auction, you're the first person to ever buy Nyan Cat at the auction, and you get this bragging right. I don't think people care about owning the Nyan Cat per se. Like, this is about the bragging right that comes with it. And the bragging right is actually transferred from, like, I own this to I did the transaction first. Like in a YouTube comment section when you say first. Except for $60 million.
So basically it's a stunt.
Well, it's bragging rights. It's as close as you get to directly buying social standing. You can imagine like social coin instead of Dogecoin or Bitcoin, and you buy that directly. It's basically the same thing, but a little bit veiled. I think in 10 years we won't see the difference.
So it's like not cute. Like basically there's two things, like either that or like just an investment, thinking that buying an NFT of 69 million will put more value into it because it's a fun stunt.
I don't think it's gonna gain value. Oh, but it's the scarcity makes it valuable. But
I mean, it's the only NFT that is worth 69 million, and for it must be worth 200 million.
Maybe, but there's probably not gonna be a lot of such cases in the future.
I don't know. Like there's this old website. Like so, it's like this artist thingy, NFT. Well, I can't remember the website. Like I wanted to, like to be honest, I wanted to create. Like I had this idea for like a long time ago, and I thought like, well, I don't know what to do with. Like I wanted to create an NFT for every colors. So with the RGB, like 255, 250, whatever. And I was like, well, I don't have any use for it, and I couldn't find use for the color. So I'm like, okay, that's useless. No one will buy it. And then I saw that and I was like, okay, maybe I should just create these NFTs and like put them on the marketplace just to see what happened. But like to create an account, you need to buy.
Yeah, I'm given to understand that these things are not cheap to make. And I've seen a bunch of artists against it for environmental reasons.
Well, Ethereum is now like the thing with block like so that, but like we already talked about that. Like basically, there's two ways that a blockchain work: proof of stake and proof of work. Proof of work is not good for the environment. Like it takes too much energy. Proof of stake takes like basically no energy. And so Ethereum is not yet on proof of stake, but it will become proof of stake kind of. Well, it's been 2 years that they say they will transfer to proof of stake. It's not there yet. Whatever, too complicated, not the subject of the thing. But once it's on proof of stake, it won't have any energy issue.
Yeah, then you're left with only ethical issues.
What do you mean ethical?
This is the whole, well, about Bitcoin in general, I don't really care, but about NFT, it's as close as we've gotten to buying and exchanging nothingness, basically. Like, you know what Marx said about like commodity becoming, I don't remember what he said, but the ultimate stage of capitalism. We are getting there. Like, it was already pretty dodgy with like speculation about investment on startups that do basically nothing, and like software engineering that basically reinvents the wheel every month. Now we're literally buying nothing for 60 million. We're buying the action to buy. So this.
But that's amazing, to be honest. Like because it's actually. It's actually there's only can be one person that buy it. It's you're buying a transaction that is defined by a JPEG.
Yeah, I mean the JPEG is nothing. It's just a pretense.
Yeah.
The JPEG doesn't matter. The JPEG doesn't exist. It's like it's like the Picasso or the startup investment. It doesn't actually like matter what it is. No, we are just dropping the pretense one step further.
Because because I think like my issue is that I think there's might be an interesting, like basically the idea is interesting. Like okay, I've created a virtual piece of art as an artist. I want to sell it, which makes sense. Like I want to make a living with it, and I want to sell it somehow. The problem with virtual art is you can duplicate it as much as you want. So like, what are you actually buying?
Well, not really, though. I would argue that the virtual art is actually unreproducible because it's a disk state so there is either it's reproducible infinity if you consider that it's the picture, or you consider that it's the disk state and it's not reproducible at all. With NFT, now you get a third option that... Well, no, because it's not really at all about the art. It's just about like X gave Y X money for this pretense. I mean, it's not very different from selling a JPEG with a contract saying, oh, you can't duplicate it. Except here, the contract is guaranteed, notarized by the blockchain in a way.
I think it would make Like, for example, for the like the sports thingy, if you transfer a card of whatever you're buying outside of the website, we remove we remove your ownership of the NFT. Which makes no fucking sense. Like, it makes no fucking sense.
Well, you could have in the ledger a transaction from themselves to themselves that say, transaction number 42 is cancelled. But not sure that has any meaning. It's a ledger. It's a shared ledger that, I mean, you can basically write anything in, right? So you can say like, oh, this guy can do whatever he wants with the JPEG, and then you can say, oh, this guy cannot do anything at all with the JPEG, and it's just a very weird way to cement that information.
I don't know. Like, I think like I don't know why my brain doesn't want to accept. But yeah, like literally, like right now I'm on an art website called artblocks.io, and they're like, ooh, look at this like little spiral thingy, and they've minted 1,000 NFT. So
I think most people use it without really understanding it fully, like as a proof of scarcity. But it doesn't change. It's just like, I'm going to send 1,000 JPEG, and each one comes with a contract of authenticity. But now the contract is actually like notarized in a way. Whereas before, I guess people did not take this kind of contract seriously, or there was no legal place for buying a JPEG. I don't know.
Yeah.
And this, the thing is like, if you're like blockchains are global, so it doesn't really depend on the law of your country, though. Like the law of your country can have different interpretations of the ledger.
No, but like, yeah, my brain doesn't want to understand that like you're not buying anything. There's a bug in my brain.
Why? I mean, most money transactions don't make any kind of sense. Like when Facebook buys startups to shut them off, they're like not really buying anything.
But yeah, they're buying the right to shut them off. They're buying an effect. No, but like it's like saying like, for example, like I think like some people will say, what's the difference between this and a Bitcoin? Which like you can argue, yeah, it seems like it's pretty much the same thing. But for me, like a Bitcoin, an Ether, whatever, don't have the pretense of representing something.
Well, the thing is, there is no such thing as a Bitcoin, right? It's everyone's amount of Bitcoin wallet.
What do you mean?
It's just, we talk about Bitcoin as a shorthand for some kind of fluid currency. Saying like, oh, you have two, I have one, and then we exchange or whatever. But it's not like... So in that sense, it's a bit different, I guess.
But not...
When you buy an NFT, it's kind of like you do a Bitcoin transaction saying, oh, no takebacks, no backsies. I give you one Dogecoin and no backsies. This episode is brought to you by cats. Cats are fluffy and nice. Try cats.
So the first thing that like this whole thing made me think of is, and I think we talked about that on the podcast like a few episodes ago, maybe 5-6 episodes ago, which was a banana on the wall art piece.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you remember, but basically an artist in an exhibition of some sort put a banana on a wall with duct tape, and obviously the banana would rot, so he would remove the banana and put a new one like every whatever, like 6 hours or whatever. And he was selling the art piece, and it sold for like an insane amount of money. I can't remember.
And the art piece in that case was
a piece of paper that said, here's how to put that art piece together, which was literally, you take a banana, you buy duct tape, and you put the banana on a white wall.
Kind of like a patent or a recipe.
And I don't know...
And that didn't give you a clue that people were exchanging money against nothingness.
But the thing with that is like, it gave you the right for your personal home or whatever, I think it doesn't make sense. But for museum, I think it makes sense. Well, it doesn't make sense because why would you need a fucking piece of paper to put that shit together? Like,
well, yeah, the thing is exactly like anyone can do that, but then you have the piece of paper that grants the authenticity. And it's exactly like NFT, except that
it's literally the same thing. It's literally the same thing actually, because like it's reproducible, like it's no scarce at all. Like everyone can put that together. It's exactly like NFT. Like there's actually no difference, no?
Yeah. I mean, it's and in a way, it allows scarcity and price of information, ? Maybe, because then you can like the blockchain cements your purchase of this patent or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not gonna matter until someone puts their own banana on the wall, claims to be original, and lives in a country where the document
is legally
valid.
And even then, like you can argue that it's not the same because whatever.
Because it's not the same atoms. No, I mean, the paper says like in abstraction that you own the concept of putting a banana on the wall or something like that. Like, then you can weasel your way out of it saying I wasn't.
Humans are so weird. We are a weird species. Like first we create money and then we decide that you can buy concepts. It's a very weird thing.
That's where I'm lost, to be honest. Like
like it's not even knowledge. It's like a literal concept. I'm buying the concept of like this glass. Not this glass, any glass on a desk.
I mean, intellectual property is already pretty dodgy and nonsensical at times, and this is just shedding light on the fact that intellectual property makes no sense whatsoever.
Okay, maybe it was not that interesting of a topic then. It just like...
Oh, I think it was. I think it was pretty nice. I didn't realize that we were creating an ontology on top of the existing one. It's a bit scary.
I mean, like, it doesn't do much, so... Like, it's not that... I think, like, one last thing is that we didn't talk about. I have the feeling that, like, this is what's actually happening there. It's people are trying to evade tax, and that's a nice way to do that.
Well, then it's just like doesn't it become just a cryptocurrency then?
Yeah, but it's less... Because the legality of anything blockchain is a bit weird, I think, being one step removed. Like, you don't own any shares that it was $2,000. You own a piece of nothing, which is that people value a lot, but like then you can say like, oh, this thing is valued like 10 millions. For the law, it's maybe a bit wrong.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be the politician that has to design the law to tax literally nothing. But it's okay. It's for rich people, so they're not gonna get taxed.
Yeah. But like that, no. But like that's what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure like a lawyer of that person that like owns that shit for 60 million. Well, like, maybe it's a good idea to buy this shit for 60 million because like, and maybe I think like that would make more sense to me than like bragging rights.
I mean, that is a very down to earth interpretation. That is also probably very true.
I just didn't want that like stone unturned.
I do. So my prognostics is that most NFTs will go down in value, except maybe the very first one or two or three most famous or firsts might, because the NFT itself may be scarce, but then NFTs as a whole won't be scarce, so they'll become just tax evasion. And so tax evasion and new ontology. I like the fact that we're getting more and more into the abstract than we've never gone before. Like if you will, we are purely in buying, exchanging noumenal objects. Like I don't know, I completely idealized things.
Yeah, no, that's fun, but I think it goes with because we created a world where 95% of our life is just information. Like, we need to find a way to monetize it somehow, I guess.
Well, okay, 90% of our life is information and 100% of our life is monetization, because you don't necessarily need to put capitalism on top of information. You're postulating an axiom of capitalism and market-based life.
Yeah. I'm assuming that because the life that we're living on right now. And I think for the purpose of that conversation, like, I mean, like, we can discuss about like a world where like whatever, like money doesn't exist and blah, blah. But then like, what is the use of an NFT? None.
Exactly, which is why I was a bit reluctant to talk about it.
But like, actually, no, you could think of like a world without money where like for games, it makes a lot of sense. It still makes a lot of sense.
You create fake money. Well, you create atoms, virtual atoms from their scarcity, and then you can create a new universe where scarcity. But if you're gonna simulate a new universe, you might as well like not simulate the scarcity.
Yeah, scarcity is useless, clearly. For the guys that listen to us that will create a universe in a few months, please don't put scarcity in it, I guess.
I mean, if you're in a utopia where money doesn't exist and there's no scarcity, maybe you can recreate it through NFT, but maybe you might not want to do that.
But to be honest, like, wouldn't you want some...
Or just to have fun? And actually, we are just in a game that a post-scarcity civilization is simulating just to have fun and make us suffer.
But I mean, like, the thing with non-scarcity society or civilization, there's still some kind of scarcity. Meaning, like, art is always scarce, for example.
Well, you don't necessarily have... Yeah, I guess, I don't know. Maybe post-scarcity is not the right term. Maybe post-ownership is a better term. But
yeah, because, like, I was thinking about Star Trek, for example, and, like, clearly, there's no scarcity, but, like, there's ownership, I guess. I'm not sure. I haven't watched Star Trek that much, to be honest. Okay. Are we done with the NFT conversation? Feel like we're kind of are, if you don't have any other point. I don't know, like the thing that we say right at the start of the episode completely.
Well, then that's good. Isn't that what we want out of an episode?
Yeah, but it was very soon after starting it.
Very early, yeah.
Which is a bit sad. Like, I would have preferred for it to, like, end with that.
As a conclusion?
Yeah, do you want to do the conclusion?
Yeah. But what was it at the very beginning that we were talking about? Like, coin are all coins, but they have different atoms.
Ooh.
And the bitcoins are all bitcoins, but they have different ledger transactions. And NFT ties into all that. I mean, NFT is a very interesting window into what capitalism applied to ideas, applied to concepts, can yield. And it may or may not create a shared ontology on top of the existing one. We might be creating virtual atoms. It's funny because, yeah, if you run a simulation, you would run it on a machine. But here, what's the difference between like the simulation that runs on your server and the simulation that runs on the blockchain, really?
There's no difference in itself except that it's public.
It's just wider scale.
It's wider scale and it's completely public, like meaning no one owns it. Which make all the difference.
Yeah, but you can imagine a public machine.
You can imagine what?
A public machine.
Oh.
I mean, it is a concept that makes sense to me.
Yeah, but...
it's a machine that no one owns.
Yeah, no, but like the concept makes sense, but like the only way as humans that we found to do that is actually blockchain. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not saying it's realistic under the circumstances, yeah.
No, but like the thing is like, you're saying what's the difference between these two objects? And like these two objects are the same thing. It's just like the blockchain is a way, is the only way that we found to do that concept.
Okay, so can we say that blockchain is a way out of capitalism?
No. Well, if
it's a way to do a public good under capitalism?
I have this amazing book called Crypto Communism.
Yeah, I need to read it. It seems like a good title. Maybe I'll try to read it before we do the comment section. And we can come back to it. Because right now in this episode, since it's our new format, we didn't address previous comments. We would be happy to continue the discussion with you on our subreddit mostly, or on Twitter, but Twitter is never good for long-form conversation, or in email if you want to be private, or I think we have a YouTube too, but that's also not good for conversation.
Or send us an NFT with your height.
Send us an NFT with the iTunes 5-star review. You know what? Like, rate us 5 stars on iTunes and then send us an Ethereum ledger token that proves that you did it. please.
Let's do that.
And I didn't say the address. It's all Not Daily Podcast without spaces.
And now you can actually find us on iTunes. And it's only been 1 month because apparently before I didn't work.
And we'll see you next time.
But not tomorrow.